program.
And we are live. We missed about 4 minutes of the race because we were told the wrong time.
Correct.
And we're not given the password until now. So, not going to blame anyone because I don't know who to blame. But that's the case. With me is Mr. Byron, although his race app spectator, his RaceRoom spectator is not working properly, so he is here purely for color commentary purposes. Not really sure that's any different than normal.
Yeah, apparently whoever did, either Windows is screwed up or whoever made the latest version of R3E Reality has not put a valid digital signature on it. So it's Windows is basically telling me, nah, not gonna work. The problem is that it worked like a couple weeks ago.
Well, we got a really good battle going on here between one of ESR's newest members, Christopher Streppen, and Mr. Chacon. I will get his first name from the result. It is Pablo Chacon, and he is losing a spot and obviously seems to have a little bit of an internet connection problem, and he spins out. We are here in Imola. My God, there's a Ford in second place. What is this world? Congratulations to a driver I've not seen before, Carmine Carpintero, who is on the tail of Mike Stoppmill in a Ford GT. That is stunning, as Chacon loses another spot there to De Gomes, who moves up into 8th position. Top 10, Stoppmill, Carpintero, Flazinho, Armiento, who I think is also new, Telhero, Ascaso, Verstappen, De Gomes, Suhar Benares, and Chacon is your top 10 with Simeon Naku, Huerta, Gonzalez, and Ishmael Montoya riding out the field. Montoya appears to be out of the race, or he is in the pit lane. I'm going to say that the small grid today might be a reflection of the struggles that currently we're having in RaceRoom with both the virtual reality and force feedback of certain wheels, maybe limiting some of the drivers from competing due to the recent patching that has left. I know Paul Riccobeni, for example, is frankly not able to compete in really any way, shape, or form right now, and that might explain why we have just a 14-man grid here. Jesus Huerta is in the pits. We're going to take a quick look at him. That is not. So he is out of the race. And it's just Ishmael Montoya. So 2 Mercedes are out of the race so far. We'll get back to the action. So it is a Corvette leading a Ford, followed by an Audi, 2 additional Mercedes. By the way, a lot of Mercedes today. In addition to the 2 out of the race, we have 4 others. There are also 5 Audis, and then it is 2 Corvettes, those being Naku and Stoppmill, and a single Ford by Carpintero. A little bit surprised that we're not seeing any BMWs in the field or the new Porsche, so some surprises there. But the Audi and the Mercedes have historically been very, very strong cars, and the current BOP balance has more or less retained those 2, along with the new Porsche, the Callaway Corvette, and the BMW M6 as kind of a 5-man top-tier car at the moment, with the legacy cars and the not really legacy cars like the McLaren 650S, which I'm a little bit disappointed with how weak it is. Not a McLaren fanboy by any means, actually one of my least favorite cars, but it does feel like it has been treated rather poorly by the current BOP. Unless we're going to get the 720 in the future. That would probably explain it, maybe. Ellison Flazzino rounding in 3rd place is the top of the Audis, top of the upper tier cars, because while I was saying that, I mean, Stoppmill and Carpintero are in full-on legacy cars and are running 1-2 in the old school Corvette Z06 and the Ford GT. There is Mike Stoppmill in his black and chrome and yellow car. There is Orlando Telhero, who's been a top performer in this format. I think he's lost a spot, actually. I could have sworn he was up in 5th place and is now fallen back to 6th. next up to try him would be Christoph Verstappen, who is catching very rapidly. So Verstappen on the charge, and we could see him challenging for 6th place very shortly.
All right, I got to do a reboot. I think I found a workaround. I'll be back in a second.
Will do. My co-commentator Byron Dirksen will return after a reboot. He has recently had to do some stuff with his computer, and it seems as if perhaps this has created some level of problem in the spectator software. Quantum Racing Team, Ellison Flazino. By the way, we have the Portal team names on, so they are not connected to the liveries that they have chosen. So it'll be interesting to see some of the things being put out there. There's Mike Stockman with the ESR in his name. A member of 3D Speed's Team Godzilla, although unfortunately the 3D Speed series will be rebooted due to the considerable physics changes of the most recent patching, which ruled a number of legacy cars, most noticeably the Nissan GTR and Chevrolet Camaro, as frankly nightmares to drive. And that's kind of all there is to it. So there's Orlando Telhero, and you can see Verstappen is close to 2 seconds. Go back to that! Go back to that! Verstappen's on the attack! Why have we changed cars? Alright, I'm overriding the auto director because the auto director doesn't know what it's doing. We missed Christoph Verstappen with the overtake. Can Orlando Telhero come back at the Haribo Mercedes? Battle of Mercedes on Mercedes, 2 identical cars. Don't know what the setups perhaps have laid out as potential advantages here, but it looks like Verstappen's just pulling away. So I'm very annoyed with the cameraman on that one. Auto director showing us Mike Stockmill. Don't get me wrong, Mike Stockmill up in front. It's a thing to see, and I think we have a timing glitch because I do believe that he is actually 1 minute ahead. So that's going all over the place. So either we're having problems with my internet connection, or the server is having some significant problems right now, because I can't believe this many cars are having such highly fluctuating gaps. We'll go back to the auto director though for the time being. So it looks like the timing has stabilized, or maybe not. Carpintero and Stoffmiller are still highly variable, and that's not a very changing gap there. Like, that's fairly reasonable. I don't know what's going on there. We will see if Verstappen can keep climbing, because he is catching up to Ascasso, assuming that is not a timing glitch. It'll be a while yet, but he is in the mix. Dairka Sujar Banaras running in 9th place. And there is Mike Stockmill, the race leader, continuing to lead the way. ESR representation from Mike Stockmill today, along with Mr. Christoph Verstappen, and the 11th place car of Simeon Naku. A number of our best drivers absent from the field today, but a number of, I think, a lot of drivers are absent. A number of very prominent names in this Intercontinental Series not present today. Sorry about that. Was just handling some technical jargon. This is the problem with being the solo man on the commentary booth at the moment. When I have to do something, you're gonna get some quiet. And Christoph Verstappen is on the attack against the Audi of Acaso. First name is Anshel. So there we go. This Mercedes is going to have a pretty good grunt advantage on the straight, I imagine. Although, must say, the Audi R8, a lot more competitive on the straight with the new physics than they have previously been. Which I think has to do with the fact that it looks like the cars have become more aerodynamically sensitive. So if you're looking to run your zero wing, your zero downforce kind of setups, it's not really going to work in theory. And that does mean that grunty cars like the Mercedes, who are not necessarily the most aerodynamically efficient, may have had their straight line advantage somewhat chopped down to cars like the Audi and to a degree the Porsche as well. Maybe even the Callaway would be a little more competitive in a straight line. There's Antonio Armiento. Not really sure why we're with him. I think the battle is definitely the battle for 5th, and I'm going to go lock the camera on that. This is Christoph Verstappen coming up to the back of Acaso, and he's bringing Orlando Telhero with him. So Telhero, well, he was breezed by Verstappen, appears to have some level. Oh god, no, Verstappen is off. And also off was Acaso there, and Orlando Telhero has taken over 5th position. So it'll be interesting to see Verstappen try to come back on that, because we know he's got the pace. I mean, he roared up to Telhero, he roared up to Acaso. Probably has a top 5 car under him, but is quite a ways back now. In fact, you can't even see him in the shot. So that's going to make this battle for 5th place pretty interesting. Somewhere along the line, Barniares has picked up a spot over, I believe, de Gomes, or possibly Chacon slipping back. I'm not sure, but he is up to 8th position. I don't recall who occupied that spot beforehand. Orlando Telhero, on the other hand, still running in the top 5. There he is, his best lap of a 44.73, the best lap of the race. Not much quicker than that, actually. Mike Stoppel has done a 44.1. That is the fastest, and a 44.2 for Carpentiero. So, yeah, pretty close, honestly. Number of people in the 44s for their best laps, couple of 45s. And then to the low end, we got some 46s, and I hate to pull attention to him, but Ricardo Goncalves, not on the pace, running 148s as his best lap. And quite a ways behind. Not as... No, he is that behind, actually. So, no, that is not a timing glitch. He is multiple minutes behind. That is potentially very harsh. So, Orlando Telhero still running in 5th. I'm keeping an eye on the Verstappen gap. The problem is I honestly don't think I'm getting 100% correct timing results here. But either way, it does appear that he is quite a ways back, and we'll have to catch up. Telhero is very off the top 4, so I wonder... Again, we came into this race about 4 minutes late. I do wonder if there has been some kind of pileup at the start that caused a bit of a differential in the grid that has created a gap. And for sure, also, we're getting just some really bad timing ratings here. So I still don't entirely know what to make of it, and it's making it very difficult. So we're going to have to kind of eyeball it and hope that we don't miss anything. Back on the auto director now, and it has pulled us to the charge of Dierka Suhar Benares. I'm apologizing if I'm butchering that name. He has caught up to Christoph Verstappen. That being said, we saw Verstappen go off the track, not showing any damage via the spectator tool, and Pablo Chacon just overtaking somebody there. That is I'm not sure who that was. Spinning off into the distance. By process of elimination, it appears to have been Luis de Gomes, who was the spinning off car. Mike Stoppmill continues to lead this race. He has done so since the 56-minute mark at the very least, so about 16 minutes in the lead at least out of the 20. And we don't know what happened in the first 4. So there is Sujar Barniaris on the charge against Christopher Streppen. Again, that gap to where they are in relation to 6th place is highly fluctuating in a manner that makes me very concerned about the accuracy of it. But that is what we have at the moment to work with. Sorry, I'm just checking if Travis Wallace has come to the TeamSpeak, since he has offered his services in the commentary booth for this particular rushed production of the Intercontinental. They are definitely closer than that 31 seconds being displayed there in the gap. I don't know what to make of this timing issue, and there it is. That looks more likely. It shrunk to about 8 seconds. That looks more correct, but even that is highly fluctuating, so I do not know what to make of the timing issue here. I apologize for that, but I'm not sure that there is anything that I can do to resolve the issue. I can still tell you who's where. We don't have any fluctuating positions. It is Mike Stoppmill leading from Carpentiero, Flozino, Armiento, Telhero, Ascaso, Verstappen, Barniaris, Chacon, De Gomes, Decu, and Gonçalves. Out of the race, it is Jesus Huerta and Ismael Montoya. Must say that it has to be said that Carmine Carpentiero is sticking with the race leader. We've seen Mike Stoppmill run away with things before, but the Z06 is not terribly ahead of the Ford. And again, I must emphasize, 2 legacy cars running 1-2, cars that were not well appreciated by the physics update, but doing very well here today. Christopher Streppen is on the charge. He is back up at the back of Ascaso. He was here before, battling for what was then 5th place. Both cars made a mistake, and Orlando Telhero pounced on both of them. We will see if he can get that. In fact, I'm not trusting the auto director today, probably because it's getting poor timing information, to be honest. We're just going to lock the camera on here and follow this battle between Christoph Verstappen and Ashel Ascaso here. Battling over 6th position. We know Verstappen has the pace advantage, but he has to be able to actually turn that into an overtake at some point. I cannot tell you what the last lap comparison was. Ascaso did a 49.5. Not very good. It was an invalid lap from Verstappen, so I don't know if he was particularly quickly. Christoph Verstappen maybe needs to pay a little bit more attention to the track limits. There was, of course, a recent stewarding issue with the ESR community in regards to that. And I do hope that everyone has checked Marshal Jack Hunvik, Joachim Hunvikson's ruling on the matter and procedure going forward. Verstappen looking for a way around right now. That last lap time, he was much quicker than Ascaso, although Ascaso did regain some of his pace there. He did a 45.7 as opposed to the 49s he was doing, so that's a much better lap time. Can he get the job done? The car ahead of them is the lapped car of 12th place Ricardo Gonçalves, who is really racing, unfortunately, nobody at the moment, and doing 49s with a best lap of 48.4. He is definitively off the pace today. Don't know if that's a normal thing for him. He's historically, I think, been better than this, but today he's normally off the pace. Doesn't seem to have any damage on the car, but not reading the Imola circuit very well. And the longer that Akaso holds up Verstappen, we could have a similar situation to when Talhero was involved with these guys. And it could really work out for Suhar Banyares, who's down there in 8th place. But Verstappen does get the move done right there and moves into 6th place. I imagine he will pull away relatively quickly in this battle, as he has definitely been a man with greater pace than the midfield. Oh, contact! And I think that worked out very poorly, actually, for the Audi, because that's opened the jar, and indeed it has, for Banyares to make the move up into 7th place. We'll throw back on the auto director, as I think this has largely resolved itself. Well, I say this, and there is Akaso coming back at Banyares, but cutting wide on the corner there, and that is going to drop the Audi way back, and he is off the track. It seemed has regained it now. Blue flags being obeyed there by Gonçalves, and then ends up taking out Banyares. That is some poor driving from the blue flag driver, if I may say. He let one by, and it was obvious that there was going to be an attempt from Banyares to get through, and he did not leave that room that I would have, particularly given that he is not really fighting anybody. I am generally an advocate for the blue flag driver's right, but there I think that was that may have been a bit of a failure on the part of the Audi driver. To not anticipate what's going on. We got the ACC race coming up later today, by the way, in ESR. There will be a debuting driver as one of my good friends joins the grid, and I am told that I have to claim that it is Byron Dirksen, so everyone get ready for that. So this is Luis de Gomes. He is dropped behind Simeon Niku, but appears to be catching him now. Luis we've seen off the track a couple of times, so not sure what is going on with his particular race right now. But it's not good. Definitely has maybe a case of a bit of over-pushing. He seems to have a reasonable but not spectacular pace there. You can see his best lap there of a 45.1. For comparative purposes, Niku's is a 46.8. So he is very out of place right now. And a bit of a good example of the whole, not necessarily racing is more than speed. It's being able to stay on the track, being in a good zone, staying out of contact with people, and something that we're working on right now in the ESR Academy races, which we saw take place last night, opening round of the season at Brands Hatch. There will be a YouTube commentary up later this week of those races, as well as a post-race debriefing for the Academy racers. One Academy racer has been bold enough to submit their race for review, which I will share with everybody. At least in the Academy. This will be private to the Academy only, as well as instructors. So there is that sort of no shame exposure. Luis de Gomes on the tail of Simeon Niku, which I think this is probably the fight we're going to get a lot of for a little bit. We know that Gomes has got pace. Again, best lap of 55.1. That puts him ahead of... that puts him the 7th fastest car on the grid by fastest lap. But running in an unfortunate 11th place at the moment. Here is Ellison Flazino, who's tracking a podium position, which is currently being held by Antonio Armiento. And in the meantime, in the lead by a long shot, it is Mike Stockmill and Carmine Carpentiero up in first and second position. Again, I apologize. The timing seems to be somewhat glitched. I can confirm that Pablo Chacon is not 3 minutes behind Diarca Suhar Benares, for example. That is not correct. So something to keep in mind when looking at the gaps at the side there. I will try to keep you as apprised of the action as I can. And we check back in with the leader there, and this is back to the Luis de Gomes battle with Simeon Naku, ESR's own Simeon Naku in the Legacy Z06. A car that not tremendously helped by the physics update, I don't think, but not necessarily worse than it was. I just think that there was maybe more of a advantageous to things like the Audi R8 and the BMW M6 being just kind of pushed up to the... We did a full... Myself and Mike Stockmill did a full testing run on all the new cars to try to give everyone a picture of the pace, as it were. And I'll be looking to do another one of those this week at a new track to give a little bit of an action, although in the near future I'll be trying to figure out what GT4 I'm going to run for our Christmas series. So check that out on the ESR Discord if you want to get some racing in over the holidays. Somebody off there. That was Orlando Telharo taking a spin. So Telharo, who really pounced on an accident not between Ascaso and Verstappen, but more like just kind of a simultaneous mistake. And he has apparently made one now, and that's going to promote Verstappen into the top 5, which really does feel like where he belongs with his pace today. He's been charging through the field for a while there, and you can see he's already leaving Telharo in the distance. I'm checking Telharo for damage right now. None is being shown, so he is seemingly good to go. And we check back in with Luis de Gomes, who is on the pressure on Simeon Naku. A little bit further back than last time we saw him, though. May have made some kind of minor mistake while chasing. These two, of course, very ahead of Ricardo Goncalves, who's in my favorite Audi, down the back. And I'm very disappointed about that. Come on, you're in the Yakko Racing Audi. It's a beautiful livery. You need to be delivering more than this. Mr. Goncalves. I say this knowing that I probably wouldn't be doing any better. Speaking of the Yakko car, there it is, the beautiful black, green, and silver Audi, which is running in 12th place and about to be lapped by Simeon Naku and Luis de Gomes for, I think, the second time, sadly. And there is your race leader, the very unsponsored car of Mike Stockmill. If you would like to sponsor Mike Stockmill, please contact me, because I'm going to just randomly appoint myself as the business manager for Stockmill right now. I take a 25% cut. Simeon Naku is through the lap traffic, and next will be Luis de Gomes. You can see de Gomes, again, the pace is 100% there. Again, he has a faster lap of almost a full second faster than Simeon Naku. But just a series of mistakes has absolutely rendered him unable to really even pull in the Corvette. We'll see if Ricardo lets him through. We did see Ricardo have a bit of a moment under blue flags earlier on. And looks like he is going to give way nicely this time around. Ellison Flauzino running in 4th place. Not a great spot for him considering a lot of his normal rivals not present today. Again, if you're just joining us, there was a recent RaceRoom patch which has left some problems with people's VR sets and also certain wheels. I know that Paul Riccobeni is unable to race right now, and I imagine that explains why some of the big names are missing from today and why we have a little bit of an anemic grid here of just 14 cars for this highly prestigious Intercontinental race. Completely new physics here for the GTR3s. This entire class has definitely made the legacy cars feel a little bit more off, but has brought the modern cars, as it were, the ADAC 2018 cars much closer together. And that is, I assume, Byron Dirksen returning to the channel.
What's up, bitches? So when I did the Windows refresh, it knocked out my nodes.gs completely, and that's what I was using.
I see.
JS. I don't even know, I don't remember installing that, but I have notes that I wrote down, and I actually went and looked at them instead of just looking, you know. So I'm firing up the RaceRoom, I've got everything ready, it's just a matter of RaceRoom being cool, and make sure I check my audio settings so I don't deef. I apologize for the lack of boom in the voice, I've been quite ill.
Indeed, Byron has been horrendously ill. Doctors have even advised him not to be here today, and he's making that kind of sacrifice for you guys.
I had colleagues say, you should not be here at work, and I said, I agree, but I have bills.
Those things called bills are very, very pesky. I've been dealing with a billing problem myself. Unfortunately, my credit card got some fraudulent charges going on it, so I had to cancel it. And then the landlords didn't check the mail for my new credit card for like a full week, and people were wanting money.
Seems as though Mr. Sector 3 Studios is trying to give me some sort of forum update here, and it's frozen the game. That's tremendous.
That is less than ideal. I will give you a quick rundown of what's going on here, Byron. We got Mike Stoffmill leading the race. It's shocking, I know.
That's good.
A new driver is in second place, a man by the name of Carmine Carpentiero. He's from Switzerland and is driving a Ford GT and is currently in second position. Then we have another new driver, I believe, Antonio Armiento, followed by Ellison Flauzino, who's familiar to us, of course. ESR's own Christoph Verstappen rounds off the top 5.
Very nice.
Getting a significant timing glitch, so it's making it a little bit hard to tell you who's really close together. Like, gaps are growing from like 7 seconds to 2 minutes randomly, and that's a general problem. And by the way, we have an overtake going on here. The attack is on Ascaso against Banyaris. I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those names correctly, but I'm going with it. We will see if
Andrea
the Mercedes
Bargnani
can get past the Audi here. No, Banyaris. He's Spanish, not Italian.
Oh, bueno.
He is on the tail and has not gotten it by, but I will lock on here without the auto director to interfere. Because Auto Director totally robbed us of a beautiful overtake by Christoph Verstappen or Orlando Telhero, and that's not happening again.
Whoa, RaceRoom just hit me with some loud-ass music.
It will do that. It will do that. That's like a common sim thing. The audio is always too goddamn loud. So Barnyaris is trailing Ascaso, who has been... He's been fast, but very inconsistent. We've seen him off the track a couple of times, and we'll see if that Audi cracks to the pressure of the Mercedes AMG. It is not looking great for him right now. He is staying ahead, but it definitely looks like the Mercedes has all kinds of opportunities to overtake here. Seeing some new flags in the field. I think maybe we picked up another community here. By the way, Simeon Naku is putting pressure on Pablo Chacon, so we'll go to that as soon as this has kind of resolved itself. That's a battle for 9th place. And also involved in that is Louis de Gomes, who is on the tail of them. We've been talking about de Gomes a lot, under a lot of... has been really quick, but unable to really do a lot of things. Orlando Talharo there in the background. So Talharo's race has gone from really, really good to really poor. He's down in 8th place right now. As indeed Barnyaris gets the run down the start, finish straight, and takes over 6th place. But that Audi is coming back. Like I said, these new physics are really helping out the Audi R8 address its straight line problems. And it gets the position back. Lovely driving by Mr. Antonio Acaso. Or Angel Ascastle, pardon me. It's Antonio
Angel Ascastle?
Angel. It's C-H-E-L at the end instead of the G.
All I know is you said something about some Angel Ascastles, and I'm like, that sounds like a beach I want to go to.
I mean, that does feel like something we can work with here. Pablo Chacon has been shuffled back to 11th place, losing spots to Simeon Niku and to Luis de Gomes off track, or off camera, I should say. I'm not really terribly concerned about missing that because we're getting a really good battle here for 6th place, so I'm going to keep sticking with this. This battle between Diurka Sujar Banyaris and Angel Ascaso. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing either of those correctly, but we're working on it.
Yeah, apparently the race room's just making the Steam overlay never go away, so I can't actually get into the race. I can't even get into the settings of the game.
That's...
Oh, there's a force quit. Let me hit the force quit.
Weird.
Yeah, it just pops up with this web browser that won't load, or I have to click out of the game to make it go to any other window.
Arnyaris has got the position back. Sorry to interrupt, sir, but there was just an overtake happening.
That's probably more important than my shenanigans.
I don't know, your shenanigans are very important. People are here for your shenanigans.
Well, let me tell you, there's shenanigans abounding.
Barnyaris took the lead here last time, though. Well, not the lead, but for the 6th place, and Casco came back at him, and he's doing it again. That Audi is standing up to the Mercedes in top speed sections, but there is a mistake too late on the brakes, and that has, I think, done the battle in. And that is going to bring on a fight between Orlando Talharo, who also gets the job done. So both Mercedes overtake the Audi, and it's now 8th place for Ascaso. We'll focus on him as he tries to get the spot back. It's Orlando Talharo, and it doesn't work out very well. They bang them sides a little bit, and the Audi loses the front end and ends up in the grass. So nothing going there. We'll go back to the auto director as there are no currently pressing battles, though I feel like Orlando Talharo is the man to watch in 7th place. We got some cheers in the chat for Ellison Flazinho. So good. We got the Brazilian cheering section going on here. Here is Luis de Gomes. We've been talking about him as a guy who's been kind of out of position this whole race. Definitely a faster car than he shows, and he's on the tail of Simeon Niku for 9th position. Simeon is a very difficult racer to overtake. Very truckish in defense and in attack, and that sometimes can catch him out, but also sometimes serves him really, really well. And in the background there, you can see Pablo Chacon, who is trying to run them down. He is in 11th spot right now. Orlando Talharo is dropping back from Banyaris, so I thought that he was the man to watch. I could be mistaken. Either that or that's a timing glitch we have, and I think it's probably a timing glitch we have. Whoa, an outside attempt there by de Gomes. I'm not even sure if that was an outside attempt, but out of shape, Niku. Simeon Niku holding on to the position, but no, he's going to lose it. He gets into the slipstream. Let's see if he can do what Ascaso did earlier on and get back at him. And you would think that the Z06 has the ability to do that. It's a very grunty car in a straight line. Let's see if he can get the job done. The Corvette versus the Audi. He's on the inside. We have gone away from that to a meaningless fight. Go back to that.
No, meaningless fights are the best.
Simeon Niku has gotten the position back off camera once again. The auto director has failed us. I'm going to speak in defense of the auto director for a change, though. With the way the timing is currently glitched, I'm not going to really say that I can blame it for flipping away from stuff.
Oh, we're close, baby. We're close. We're close. I can see track.
So de Gomes
There
is
goes.
So de Gomes still putting the pressure on Naku, and this is working to the advantage of Pablo Chacon, who is all over the back end of this fight as well. Orlando Talhero was very close to Barnyaris. That's what we cut to a while ago, but it seems like he's dropping back once again, or just more or less stabilized. Looks like Barnyaris does have the ability to hold him back. I will be off mic 1 second while I go and grab my beverage, which unfortunately has fallen behind my desk.
Why have you done this to me? Okay, so I've signed in, I can see a track, and it just froze up. So I'm gonna have to change my video settings to your boy doing stuff. I did put in a new video card. General settings, high.
One would think, if anything, the new video card would be able to handle whatever settings you had set to, though.
Yeah, but I also did that Windows refresh, and it screwed up a lot of my games. I did make sure last night to make sure that this was up to date and actually functional.
And I'm left to assume, by the way, that you will be doing live commentary of the ACC, or may not, depending on if Cole, the Hard Truth, can make Parsec work. So Simeon Naku still in 9th place. Still hanging on there. Orlando Talhero's on the attack. We'll go quickly look at it. In fact, there it is, side by side down the straight between the two Mercedeses. Talhero in the white. The gunmetal and red car is Banyaris. And the fight is on.
Alright, we back. We got Luis de Gomes, or de Gomez, the other.
I believe it's de Gomes.
Team, hit yourself in the face with a Netanyahu. We have Invisible Orlando. Oh, there he is.
Orlando Talhero stalking Banyaris. Talhero was up in 5th place earlier on, Byron, but unfortunately a couple of mistakes has left him with a lot to do. And
was this about Paul Harris?
He may be getting on. Whoa! I said Banyaris, not Paul Harris. Let's not insult the man.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
We have no evidence that Mr. Banyaris likes to take people's legs home with him.
I mean, maybe chicken legs.
Well, I mean, chicken legs, sure, but we're talking about, like, the whole thing, so to speak.
Stuff me a watch. Almost 10 seconds. Yeah, there you go. There's a whole bunch of lead accumulating right there.
Yeah, I think there's a glitch going on with the timing. It's been bouncing around like no one's business.
I can dig on that. Also, my race timer says 00. Is that normal?
We have 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Interesting.
So looks like you just haven't gotten a time from the server for some reason.
Yeah, well, that happens.
I will alert you when we are really approaching the end.
I just figured it's a really long lap.
Orlando Talhero still on the... No, I mean, this is a long lap. It ain't that long. It's not Nordschleife. We have 12 cars running. We have lost 2 from the race in the form of Jesus Herta and Ishmael Montoya.
The white whale!
No more headlight flicker.
Man, that's my favorite part. I have it in chat. We got 8 people in chat. I see your boy, the Josiah, has communicated. The Travis of the Wall Hacks has communicated. Tiago Lorento. I should probably zoom this in a little bit. Why am I not able to... Come on, boys.
Pablo Chacon looking to make the move on Simeon Naku. This is for 10th position. That Audi has gotten a lot faster in a straight line, I must say. But nothing on at the moment here. Naku doesn't really defend, just kind of puts the pedal to the metal and gets a little bit enough speed to dissuade the attack of Audi driver Pablo Chacon, racing for Racing Juniors.
The Junior.
Juniors. The
I thought
Junior.
we were doing commentary with Stoffmill today.
No, sir. We are commentating on Stoffmill's race live. It's crazy.
Oh, well, you told me, or at least my sick brain decided to interpret it, that we were doing commentary with Stoffmill.
I believe your sick brain was up to some interpretation.
That is entirely possible. My brain had a lot of snot in it.
I am trying to get Mike Stoffmill to join us for an Academy commentary, though. So hopefully, you can see what I mean about the time glitch. We got Carpintero was briefly there 3 seconds behind Stoffmill and is now 17 seconds behind Stoffmill.
Yeah, well, people just went from being 20 seconds behind to 30 seconds behind to 3 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's not working right.
Carmine the Carpenter trying to build that lead over third place up to a full minute, apparently.
They are quite a ways apart, but it is not a full minute.
Full minute jacket.
The current battles we got going on here is Talharo with Barnyaris, so the Talharo's dropped back a little bit. And then the one I've got up on screen right now, which is Simeon Naku defending 10th place from Pablo Chacon.
Isn't he the guy that torpedoed people a couple weeks ago?
Naku or Chacon?
Chacon. I'm sure Naku's done it a bunch, but he's
might have been. Well, Naku did punt me out of the lead at Mid-Ohio. So I've got a bone to pick with the transplant driver who's out in Quebec these days.
Oh, he loves going to fishing in Quebec.
Everybody loves going fishing in Quebec. Almost as good as hiking in LA. I think that's actually from an episode you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it's probably true.
There's a whole bit where Katie and Derry, for some reason, are talking about how people who've been to LA always talk about how things are better in LA. So it's like, oh, you haven't been hiking until you've been to hiking in LA. It's a pretty good bit. It's a really good episode in general because it's the Hard Right Jay episode where they've got this like neo-Nazi hard right guy played by Jay Baruchel to show up and start a bunch of shit. It's great.
How does that even work? How can you take Jay Baruchel seriously as like a scary Nazi guy?
It's not meant to be a scary Nazi guy. It's meant to be a really, really sad Nazi guy.
Well, I mean, they're all really sad, but that kind of puts a fucking nail right in the coffin right there.
It's a hilarious episode. You should make a point to getting up to that.
I will do so as soon as my brain can comprehend information.
The renaming of the Letterkenny soccer team from the Chiefs to the Rough Riders.
Nice.
It also is the beginning of Stewart's addiction to the dark web, which is great.
Stewart!
Continue to watch. By the way, that is a really slow-moving Christoph Verstappen up ahead of this fight between Orlando Talharo and Barnyaris. I don't know what Verstappen has done, but it looks like he's been off the track again. And once again, everybody watching this, the importance of staying on the track sometimes outweighs being fast.
And currently he's holding firm in second place. This is Carmine Carpaccio Pintero.
So we got a good three-way fight between the Mercedes here for 5th position. Verstappen, Barnyaris, and Talharo. We'll stick with this for a bit unless something else catches my eye. But there really isn't anything right now. I mean, the battle between Simeon Naku and Pablo Chacon is still there, but not really raging at the moment. Verstappen off the track again and spinning around! He loses 2 spots. Is he damaged? Per the spectator tool, he is not. Which I'm a little bit amazed by.
You spin me right round, baby, right round. Like, insert German reference here. Like the schnitzel, baby.
Like the Jäger Schnitzel.
Jawohl.
Here is Carmine Carpentiero up in 2nd place. Still within vision of Mike Stoffmill, so that that 5 seconds that was being shown there is probably fairly close to accurate.
Carmine Falcone.
So hoping to see more of Carmine in the future. He's in a car that is not particularly favored by the new physics. He is keeping up with Mike Stockmill. Granted, Mike Stockmill also in a car not particularly favored by the new physics, but still.
Well, it just seems like, is new physics kind of like new Coke?
No, because I think a lot of people like new physics and a lot of people don't like new Coke.
Yeah, that was true. Those are both true statements.
Verstappen getting back past Orlando Telhero for the, by my count, 4th time this race. So, Christoph, here's an idea for you. Stay on the track so you don't have to make it a 5th time.
That seems like a thing.
Oh, Telhero's got back past him. He did stay on the track, though. He did follow my advice there, just couldn't quite hold it in that turn.
Orlando the tailgater Telhero.
We've also got a great battle here as Angel Ascau has lost his spot to Luis de Gomes and is now getting chased down by Simi and Niku. So a good 3-way battle here. This is for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Pablo Chacon has dropped way off of this, unfortunately. Verstappen and Telhero are still scrapping over 6th place. Time is running down here. We're down to our last 4 minutes and change in this race. It should be about 3 laps, maybe 4 laps. Simeon is going for it. Simeon's going for it against Ascaso. There's no way that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I mean, I'm going with it. Been going with it for 52 minutes. We're going to keep going.
I actually saw it spelled out, and I was like, no, there's no other way that's unless he missed some letters in there. Christoph, what the hell?
As Castle off the track and now getting lapped by Mike Stockmill, and is probably going to lose a spot here to Pablo Chacon, I think, who is running the identical car to. That was what was screwing me up earlier, is I kept seeing this car that is being driven by Ascaso and Chacon, and it took to this moment to realize they're driving the same car, and that's what was screwing me up. But they are in with the leaders now. And I see Christoph Verstappen is way off of Orlando Telhero again. You reacted to something that I wasn't looking at. Did he spin again?
Oh, yeah. He went all the way off.
Oh, boy. It's been a couple of guys who would benefit from just staying on the track today.
I mean, that benefits really everybody.
There are some people that really need to take that lesson to heart, though. That's kind of what I'm getting to.
Correct. Mike Stockmill currently racing for Truffles Motorsports.
As Carmine Carpintero gets past Ascaso, that is to lap him and offer position. He is trying to catch Mike Stockmill. He is catching up to Mike Stockmill, but I have to wonder how much of that was just Mike getting held up a little bit more in the traffic than him. Traffic management is a key skill as a driver, though. We are down to 2 minutes and change, so that'll be 2 more laps, I do believe, of the lovely Imola GP circuit.
If you practice really hard, you too can race for Truffle Shuffle Motorsports.
As Castle off the track again, and Pablo Chacon picks up 10th place as a result. It has to be said that Ascaso's 45.3 fastest lap is one of the 8 fastest laps in the race, and he's down in 11th place because he seems to be unable to stay on the track. Simeon Niku is back trying to catch up to Luis de Gomes. But a really weird race for Niku. It seems like he's finally found some pace now and is putting some better laps in. Currently a fastest lap of 45.3, which was not too many laps ago. Orlando Telhero off the track and in the wall. Wonder how serious that is.
I do know.
He has lost just the 1 spot and appears to be undamaged from his trip into the wall. And making me wonder what kind of damage model we got on today, because there's been some relatively solid contacts that haven't seemed to have any repercussion.
I vote we have them all sent to Gulag in Tajikistan.
Simeon Naku is catching up to Luis de Gomes a little bit at a time. Mike Stoppmill's coming up to try to lap both of them, and has built a pretty good lead over Carmine Carpentiero, so the hopes of a Ford victory, I think, are really limited at this point. And it will probably be the Dutchman in the Corvette who takes the top step of the podium.
The top Verstappen?
The top Verstappen. And the timer is expiring in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So next time across the finish line is going to be the end of the race.
Oh, I thought this was going to be the end of qualifying.
We will probably stick with this battle between Simeon Naku and Louis de Gomes for the remainder here, because there's honestly not a ton else happening right now.
Louise the Gums de Gomes.
Pardon me, I said next time across the finish line will be the end. It will not be for these two cars because they are still ahead of the race leader. They will get one more lap. But next time Stoppmill crosses the line, this is over. And anyone who has fallen off the lead lap, this will be over when they cross the line next.
Perhaps.
It's not really perhaps on that one. That one I can definitively state.
Perhaps. I'm looking at the time.
The Gomes goes into the pits. What the heck is going on here? 1 lap to go? Did he run out of gas? Mike Stoppmill, by the way, officially your winner now. Checkered flag is out. Simeon Naku has gotten 8th place in a rather, to be honest, slightly cheap form, because I don't know what happened with De Gomes.
Racism.
So De Gomes is rejoining. It looks like he may have had a drive-through penalty and we just missed it or something. I don't know what happened there.
I didn't see anything flash up.
I don't know what happened there, but he has rejoined the track. Moving quite slowly, so I'm wondering if this is indeed a fuel problem. Or actually, he got lapped, so his race is over. Pardon me, that's what that is. Antonio Armento is taking 3rd place. Flazinho 4th.
Wrong.
5th for Banyaris, who's coming to the finish line now to claim his 5th place there for the Pole Team Motorsports crew.
And Christoph Verstappen somehow finishes the race.
To be honest, after one of the hits on in the wall he had, I am a little bit spread, but
Word.
And he comes across the line in 6th position, ahead of Orlando Telhero, and between them is the lap car of Ricardo Goncalves. So that is everybody finished, I do believe, except for Simeon Naku. But he, of course, cannot finish any higher than he currently is. Maybe, possibly Pablo Chacon? No, Pablo Chacon was down a lap, so he is done. So it'll be Simeon Naku who brings the last car home. And there he is crossing the finish line in the Red Bull liveried Corvette to take 8th position. Fastest lap of the race goes to Carpentiero with a 43.5, a full half second. Pretty much faster than Mike Stoppmill, but Stoppmill takes the victory. Armentero, Flazinho, Barnaris, Verstappen, Telhero, and Naku finish on the lead lap, down a lap for Chacon, De Gomes, and Ascasso, and Calvis down 2 laps. Should be mentioned, it looks like Carpentiero must have had it off at some point towards the end there, because he dropped quite a ways back of Mike Stoppmill, finishing 16.3 seconds behind the Dutchman.
I would agree. And I would also like to state for the record that the quality of this live commentary and coverage is a direct reflection of Mike Stoppmill being a jerk.
Not at all. We were told the wrong time and weren't given the password until after the race had started.
Bunch of jerks. Okay, so there's 2 jerks involved.
So that is all for the Intercontinental today. Later on today, in about an hour and a half, we're going to have some Assetto Corsa Competizione action. Byron might be with you live for that.
Yeah, as long as I'll do whatever, man. I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna put a pork shoulder in the oven and be back in time to smell it cooking.
There you go. But anyways, that is the plan for today. We got some Academy action coming up soonish. We've got some Mid-Ohio Aquila action also on deck. So get ready for that. I imagine we'll probably, do commentary for that on Monday, I'm thinking?
Whenever.
Alrighty. And with that, have a good day, Intercontinental people.
Get out.
Don't get out. This is the first
Get
time
out.
for some
Don't
people.
come back.
No, we want them to
you
come
can
back.
Stay. No, Travis specifically, get out. You're a horrible person.